Okay, welcome everyone to our guided meditation and Dharma talk. Today we will start with a short guided meditation to get settled and to arrive. And then we will be utilizing the teachings of a great Chinese Zen master, Wumen. And we will be answering the question, does a dog have Buddha nature? So let's begin by finding a bit of peace, finding a bit of space at this moment and in this situation. Can start by finding a comfortable, stable position for your body to be in. Kind of a friendly offering to your body to be comfortable and stable and still and upright. And as we find that position, letting the body do what the body does. Allowing breathing to happen without interfering with it, without thinking about it, without solving the Rubik's Cube of breathing. It's already solved. Just let breathing happen. And in that breathing just happening, that sense, that keying into completely present, completely now. And with that noticing and keying into completely present and completely now, automatically, without effort, relax. And you can consider it in this way that you aren't meditating, we aren't meditating. Just aware, just aware. There's no effort, there's nothing to do. it is very much so a feeling out. The body is experiencing, the mind is experiencing without the I, without opinions, without perspectives that we hold, without like or dislike. The mind is experiencing, the body is experiencing. Feeling out into this experiencing of impermanence. Impermanence of mental formations, whatever they may be. Feeling out this impermanence of physical sensations, whatever they may be. And in that recognition of impermanence, we open, offer, share out this blessing of cooperation with impermanence. So although we are like a fish in a small pond, surrounded by hooks with bait, interesting bait, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, we swim along. We offer the blessing of unbinding to all hooks and all baits. So we will move now into our Zen teachings. Please stay as completely as you can in this way of sitting still and not getting stuck on any hook. Listening from the heart, listening from the body. The teachings that we will be using today are from a monk named Wumen. Wumen was a Chinese Zen master in the Song dynasty who compiled the collection of koans called the Gateless Gate, born in 1183. Wumen became a monk at a young age and was deeply involved in Chan Buddhist practice or Zen Buddhist practice. He studied under many masters until he had an enlightenment experience. So today we will look together into these teachings. The format of cases is basically that many things were happening at these monasteries. They were lively places. They were social hubs, they were cultural hubs. The educated people of the time, the wealthy people of the time would seek guidance and offer support to these monks and institutions. And the monks themselves were also very engaged in serious meditation and in community life. So there were many interactions that would take place, maybe how we imagine like a special or a fun Zen interaction to take place. Many of these things happened often, and some of them were more profound or more important, some less important. And as time went by in ancient China, some of these more important collections or experiences that took place were recorded. And from that recording, the later Zen masters who had a great degree of enlightenment and insight would then offer a commentary into the deep and profound meaning of this case, this situation, this experience. And it maybe can something so small, right? Some little interaction, and then we bring about all this, all these interesting points from it, right? Insightful points from it, and it's just like a small seed becoming a mighty oak. It is not different from that. Actually, all the insight is already in this interaction. That is why it is able to be brought out in this way. So this is one of the most famous koans ever, most famous cases ever, and it is known as Joshu's dog, or does a dog have Buddha nature? So, a monk asked the great Zen master Joshu, does a dog have the Buddha nature or not? Joshu said no. So in Chan or in Zen, there's a very strong string of understanding or thought that all beings have within them the Buddha nature. All beings are able to or are a part of truth, the absolute, the original truth, that no one, nothing can be separate from Buddha, can be separate from everything, right? How can something be separate from everything? And so this is called Buddha nature in Chan, in Zen. And so surely a well-minded monk asked Zen Master Joshu, does a dog have the Buddha nature or not? And Joshu said no. So there's some curiosity here. Well, why would Joshu say no? All beings have Buddha nature. And the idea is that the more enlightened you are, the more developed you are, the more that you see that. The more that you see your enemies, your animals, trees, everything has Buddha nature. Even inanimate objects have Buddha nature. They are a part of everything. They are a part of unbindedness. So we go from the koan into Zen Master Wumen's commentary, Zen Master Wumen's teaching. Wumen said, please listen carefully. Wumen said, to study Zen, you must pass through the barrier of the Buddhas and patriarchs. Patriarchs are the past kind of enlightened Zen masters who held the lineage from the time of the Buddha, the tradition of becoming enlightened. Wumen said, to study Zen, you must pass through the barrier of the Buddhas and patriarchs. For wondrous enlightenment, you must get to the end of the road of the mind. If you do not penetrate the ancestral teacher's barrier, If you do not end the road of mind, then in all that you do, seeking to follow the Buddhist path, you are but a ghost haunting the forests and fields. So let's look at this step by step. To study Zen or to practice the way, you must pass through the barrier of the Buddhas and patriarchs. So there is a gateless gate that keeps you from getting up and going for a walk, even though you know it would be good for you to do. There is a gateless gate that keeps you from letting go of something that maybe isn't supporting your health and wealth, your peace, right? And it is gateless. It is wide open. You can just get up and walk. You can just change your life immediately, right? But we have to get through this barrier, this empty barrier, to do that. So Wumen says to study Zen, which is to unbind, to unravel knots, to get to the end of the road of the mind, the stopping, the finishing, the resolving, right? To study Zen, you must pass through the barrier of the Buddhas and patriarchs. For wondrous enlightenment, you must get to the end of the road of the mind. Anyone have an idea what is the end of the road of the mind? What is the end of the road of the mind?
Detachment, maybe.
Detachment is your mind. That is your mental view, right? That is your idea. So,
the existence
so to get to the end of the road of the mind is to stop. There's no more.
It's the same as the beginning.
There's no more understanding. The beginning and the ending dissolve. The beginning and the end they vanish. Just in the same way, to get to the end of the road of the life of the body, finished, immediately, completely. Totally. There's no ideas of it. There's no workaround. And it's not, you can't half do it, right? You can't half approach it or half understand it. Impermanence is finishing completely. The end of the road of the mind, the end, the finishing. No more concepts, you can say like that. But especially not the concept of no more concept. It's the ending of everything. So for wondrous enlightenment, you must get to the end of the road of the mind. If you do not penetrate the ancestral teacher's barrier, if you do not end the road of the mind, then in all that you do, seeking to follow the Buddhist path, you are but a ghost haunting the forests and fields. So what do we think this means?
I don't know. It sounds like transcendence or death.
You're a little bit low there. Could you see if you can speak up?
to me it sounded like either transcendence, being above everything, or death.
Transcendence or death. So if you do not penetrate the ancestral teacher's barrier, if you do not end the road of mind, then in all that you do, seeking to follow the Buddhist path, you are but a ghost haunting the forests and fields. What does this mean?
You're stuck on a hook.
You took the bait. You're getting reeled in. You're getting pulled around. And you better hope that, whatever's pulling you towards out of that water is kind enough to take that hook out of your mouth rather than cook you up. So if you do not end the road of mind, then in all that you do, seeking to follow the Buddhist path, and maybe in a very high-minded way, right? Like, oh, I'm really serious about following this path. But if you do not end the road of mind, then in all that you do, seeking to follow the Buddhist path, you are but a ghost haunting the forests and fields. But tell me, what is the barrier of the Buddhas and patriarchs? It is this one word, no. This is the barrier of Zen. This is why this collection of koans is called the Zen School's Barrier of the Gate of No. If you can pass through it, not only will you see Joshu in person, but you will then be able to walk together hand in hand with all the generations of ancestral teachers. You will join eyebrows with the ancestral teachers, see through the same eyes, and hear through the same ears. Won't you be happy? So, what is this gate? What is this barrier of no? What does that mean? Well, for me, no is like a cutting, right? We have a desire, we're chasing after something, we want to make a request, we're bothering someone about something, and they just say no, finish, cut, end, resolved, no. And it really has that power to dispel our illusions, right? When we experience no. Because we may feel like we are the important person. And, what we're doing is important and what we have to say is important. And then that no is not just like a feeling or an idea or someone sharing, their perspective with you. It is coop. Sometimes that no is a cut, a finish, right? Completely. Christina, did you want to say something?
No, not really. No.
There it is. Do any of you want to pass through the barrier? Just arouse a mass of doubt throughout your whole body, extending through your 360 bones and your 84,000 pores as you come to grips with this word no. Bring it up and keep your attention on it day and night. Do not understand it as empty nothingness, and don't understand it in terms of being and non-being. It should be as if you swallowed a red-hot iron ball that you cannot spit out. So, no, 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 everything no. You keep this word, you keep this come to grips with no. Not yes, not getting what we want, not maneuvering, not things going the way we would like them to go, but just no. Right? Because that's how we approach. Like, we want to get something, we want to go somewhere, we need help with something, maybe we think we have something important to share with the world, and then the world says no. So we have to come to grips with no, right? And this arouse this massive doubt throughout your whole body, extending through your 360 bones and your 84,000 pores as you come to grips with this word no. So if there is only no, if we give our full attention, our full body and mind, our whole spiritual energy, right, everything to just this no, well, what is all this? Right? Because if you don't have that no, if you don't pick it up, get a grasp of it, then, everything is a yes, yes, yes. Right? Oh, I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to eat this. I'm going to drink this. So what if it's just no? Then this sense of doubt, this sense of what's going on? What is this? And allowing that, what is this doubt, this wonder. It's not a skepticism. It's an unknowing. It's a fire of unknowing. It's a fire of ununderstanding. It's a fire of questioning. No. Bring it up and keep your attention on it day and night. Do not understand it as empty nothingness, and don't understand it in terms of being and non-being. It should be as if you have swallowed a red-hot iron ball that you cannot spit out. So no wiggle room, no excuses, no places to dwell, right? Oh no, this empty nothingness, everything's empty, everything is just space. No. Or being a certain way, this certain kind of experience, or not being this certain kind of experience. No. You can't dwell anywhere, like a red-hot iron ball that you've swallowed that you can't spit out. This no. After a long time at this, you become fully pure and ripe. Inner and outer are spontaneously fused into one. It is like being a mute and having a dream. You can only know it for yourself. Suddenly it comes forth, shaking heaven and earth. It is like taking a great commanding general sword in your hand. You slay Buddhas and patriarchs as you meet them. On the shore of birth and death, you find great sovereign independence. You wander at play in samadhi, in absorption of peace, among all orders of beings in all planes of existence. But how will you bring up Joshu's no and keep your attention on it? So how will you do this to get to a state like that? Bring up the word no with your whole life force. If you do this properly, without interruption, it is like a lamp of truth. Once lit, it shines. Verse. A dog, the Buddha nature. He fully expresses the correct imperative. As soon as you step into being and nothingness, you lose your body and life. A dog, the Buddha nature. In this verse, he fully expresses, or in this koan, fully expressing the correct imperative, or what is to be focused on, what is to be recognized. In that case, right, a dog, Buddha nature. As soon as you step into being and nothingness, As soon as you stepped into being someone, being someplace, being some situation, or you step into everything is nothing. I get it, everything is nothing. You lose your body and your whole life. Comments, questions? How will you bring up Joshu's no and keep your attention on it? So how will you practice this method? If you want to experiment with it, if you want to try it out, how will you do it? Just like this. Bring up the word no with your whole life force. No. If you do this properly without interruption, it is like a lamp of truth. Once lit, it shines. And so how do we get skillful at anything? By experimentation, by trying. And then if you do this consistently, you'll be more proper in doing it. And then like a lamp that is lit, it will shine. No. And if we can digest our own red hot iron ball of no, we don't have anything to worry about anymore. Because other people's no's that they're throwing around, it doesn't matter. You are impenetrable. You are impenetrable. No. You know they're no already. Innately, inherently. So then no one can tell you no, because you're not looking outside for no. You are rousing no. You are rousing, ending, finishing, resolving, cutting inside yourself with your whole life force.
Is no the same as forgiveness?
No. Nothing is the same as anything else. Nothing is different from anything else, because there's nothing in particular.
No, it feels like it negates what if, the possibility and wonder. Sorry, I'm sorry, my internet is quiet. Microphone. So I was thinking, saying no. You might say no to wonder and what if, all this realm of possibilities. I get the detachment and no expectation element of it. It's simpler this way. But
Like a demon sword.
why? Why do you need a demon sword? Anyone?
This is impermanence. You don't get to decide what happens. We don't get to control the environment. We don't get to control the body. We don't get to control the mind. in the way we might like to or prefer to. And I was saying that this no, the heaviness of this no, it's not just an analogy, it's trying to make clear how profound, how ultimate this no is. And if you want to understand it, how to cut, how to finish all kinds of different situations so that you aren't trapped by them and lost in them, right? It's like swallowing a red hot iron ball. You can't spit it out. You've already swallowed it. So this sword of impermanence, this sword of interbeing, this sword of the unsatisfactoriness in mental states, you don't need to try and understand it. You need to experience it. Because if you don't practice to experience it, then you will spend eons trying to understand it. And you won't. So we follow the instruction, right? Bring up the word no with your whole life force. And so we could do an exercise where we gather our energy and our force and we yell no at each other. I mean, that would be fine. That would be an exercise that you could do. But that's more in line with this no than developing some kind of intellectual interpretation of it. And this demon sword of the king of death, the sword of the king of death, it's just like that. It's just cutting. It's just finishing. There's no discussion, and it happens now, and it's always happening now. It's like a fire burning. It's like heat. It is nowness. Always, all the time. So we can't discuss with impermanence, and yet impermanence is at the nature of our life.
Mm, I don't understand really. What shall I say no to?
Everything.
Everything.
Everything, everything. Use the word everything. No, everything. No resolves everything. 5,000 people come to me with 5,000 requests. One no takes care of the whole situation. $5,000 demons, 5,000 angry thoughts, 5,000 delusions, 5,000 dreams, 5,000 moments of anxiety, 5,000 mistakes, 5,000 successes for my ego to feel confident about. No. You say no to everything and to the action of grasping and clinging. You bring up the word no with your whole life force. So in Zen, in cultivation, right, in Chan, in this way, you don't need to be a 25-year-old mixed martial artist to put forth your full life force energy. Because this is cultivation of the mind. So we need to get our energy in there so that you can have a direct experience and a real experience. Because every modality of training or, exercising our full energy, putting our full life force into anything, this kind of visceral moving forward, right? Oh, that's for football players. That's for 18-year-old men, 25-year-old men, what have you, super bicyclers or something like that. But this is in terms of the mind. So this force, this energy is not violent. It is, in fact, brightness, right? And this brightness dispels those cobwebs of our afflicted states of mind that have built up over all this time. You say no to everything. Everything. What would you like to say yes to?
Be with my cats. I would say yes to many things.
Why don't you try saying no to your cats?
I can't. I try, but no.
What does it mean to say no to a cat?
Well, you probably mean the detachment.
So this no is not in the realm of duality. As soon as you step into being and nothingness, you lose your body and your life. A dog, the Buddha nature. A cat as it is, the Buddha nature, freedom, awakening, enlightenment, peace. As soon as you step into being someone, in some situation, at some place, with some cats, or you step into this feeling of everything is nothing, you have lost your body and your life. You've lost everything. You've given up everything to clinging, to grasping, to false perceptions. That is why it says here in this commentary, do any of you want to pass through the barrier? This barrier so that you can experience wondrous enlightenment. To experience that, you must get to the end of the road of the mind. Someone at some place in some story, some real true person in some real true story. You must get to the end of the road of a real true person in a real true story. And your body will get there no matter what. Is your rotting corpse going to be saying no to cats and involved with them? And is that far away from you? Is a rotting corpse far away from you? No.
No.
Right? It's not from any of us. We're rotting already. It's just things are going fine so far. Nobody's complaining just yet, but they will. All right?
Yeah.
And cats, cats enjoy meat. So for wondrous enlightenment, you must get to the end of the road of the mind. You must get to the finishing, the ending, really, before your body dissolves, so that you don't have to wait for another life, another go around on the wonder wheel of Buddhism, okay, of life. So what is the barrier of the Buddhas and the patriarchs? It is this one word, no. No is the barrier. Do you want to pass through the barrier? Do you want to be free from no, not trapped by no? Just arouse a mass of doubt. What is doubt? It is a wonder. It means that when you just read something, or you just think something, or someone tells you something, you say, yeah, that's right. Oh, wow, that's incredible. No, I doubt that. That's not my experience. I don't know who this person is. I don't know what they're talking about. Oh, yeah, that's right. No, it's not right. Okay? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but we just come across things and we put it in our mouth, we're going to get sick and die. All right? So we use that no is very powerful. That no is a barrier that keeps out all the demons and the tormented, afflicted states of mind from enlightenment. They can't get through no because they just grasp onto what they come across. They just eat everything up. Okay? So do you want to pass through the barrier? Just arouse a mass of doubt throughout your whole body, a mass of wonder. Wow, what is this? Not knowing, not understanding. Let it flow throughout your entire body as you come to grips with this word no. Because no is real, whether you like it or not. You know, we can say there's a universal no from the king of death. Hey, king of death, you know, I'm going to go for a skiing resort. I'm going to go skiing in the Swiss Alps, and I've made my arrangements, and I've got a cabin. There's a hot tub there. So, you know, I appreciate that you're the king of death. I know you've been doing this for a long time, but, you know, I'm bringing my cats with me, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but, you know, this is going to have to wait. So no is real. So this no is not like we are trying to become the knower, actually, but it is we're coming to grips with no, right? Because this monk asked Joshu, does a dog have the Buddha nature or not? Which is a simple question. Of course, dogs have Buddha nature. Tea has Buddha nature. Everything, Buddha nature, Buddha, 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 Buddha. Everywhere, everything. Sure, why not? If it's got to be good, if it's got to be the best, let's put it everywhere. Everybody's got Buddha nature. Wake up, everybody, okay? 60s are back. So, we're coming to grips with this word no, with this reality of no, with this reality of impermanence, okay? We're coming to grips with it. And the way that we're doing that is by arousing this mass of wonder or doubt. And that's a looking curiously, without assumption, without bias, without grasping onto whatever comes up and then just running around with it. So bring it up and keep your attention on it day and night, because that, Christina, that curiosity about no, that is the practice, right? And that's going to allow you to bring it up and hold it. What is no? Because no is real in this sense. Like impermanence is real in this sense. So we're coming to grips with it. Don't understand it as nothingness, and don't understand it in terms of being and non-being. So you don't understand it, right? If it's not being, if it's not something in particular coming into being, or something in particular not coming into being, or it's not nothingness, it's not spaciousness, it's not emptiness, whatever that might be, what is it? It's just no. So we hold it, we carry it with us. What is this no? We explore it, right? It should be as if you have swallowed a red-hot iron ball that you cannot spit out. That is the proper way that you hold that no, that questioning, that one, you know, you want to penetrate no, you want to penetrate the barrier. So after a long time at this, after a long time at holding this no, and there are, you know, this is a particular Dharma gate, a gateless gate, right? After a long time holding this no, you become fully pure and ripe. Inner and outer are spontaneously fused into one. Because now, rather than this indulgence in our conditions and being in a positive state and non-being, and, you know, these ideas of nothingness, and, you know, having discussions with our cats about yes or no, when we hold just that no, let the cats be the cats, let, you know, your body be your body, your mind be your mind, but just this no, which is so important, so powerful, to know how to say no, right? So if you hold this, you will become fully pure and ripe. All of these outer shells will melt away, right? All of these requests, all of these involvements, all of these bindings that are all around you in your life, in your past, in your future, in your preferences, in your habit energies, will become fully pure and ripe, purified, ripened by no. And inner and outer are spontaneously fused into one. It is like being a mute and having a dream. You can only know it for yourself. Suddenly it comes forth, shaking heaven and earth. This realization, this direct experiencing. Suddenly it comes forth, shaking heaven and earth. It is like taking a great commanding general sword in your hand. So now you're in this position. After this coming forth, this direct experience, this You've penetrated no. You've entered into the gateless gate. It is like taking a great commanding general sword in your hand. It doesn't matter who they are. You slay Buddhas, you slay patriarchs, you cut through, you finish, you resolve them. You're not binded by anyone. On the shore of birth and death, in the midst of a rising of pain and passing away of pain, in the midst of our friends dying, our loved ones dying, everything changing, earthquakes, disaster. On the shore of birth and death, you find great sovereign independence. You wander at play in absorption into just being. Among all orders of beings in all planes of existence. You're free in all kinds of places, in all kinds of situations. But how will you bring up Joshu's no? How will you bring up the Master's no in the koan? And keep your attention on it. Bring up the word no with your whole life force. If you do this properly without interruption, it is like a lamp of truth. So this no is like a lamp of truth. Once lit, it shines. Okay, would anyone else like to have a comment or ask a question?
I have a question. Is no a beginning? Let's say it's the first intuitive response. It's the gate. It's the no. Do we investigate the no, or we just like no, and that's it? Investigate the
Investigations.
no. I mean, do I ask a question? Is the no a defense mechanism? Is the no an escape? Or like I get it's a sword, but why is this sword? Why do I need to apply this sword in the situation?
So this is
Because
one of
there is
the
no one answer. Yeah.
this is the barrier of intelligence. This is the barrier of having good conditions to get what you want and move in the world, right? The intellect, it's just like we give so much importance to our intellect, right? We give so much importance to our intellectual interpretations, and that's our way of investigation. But actually, it's the looking into, it's the being with, it's the direct experiencing. No, in and of itself, is no. And that's what you're looking into. No. You're not looking into your ideas about no and your perspectives and your interpretations about no. No is already the answer. No is real. It's like we're investigating birth and death. Birth and death, it's through the direct experiencing, because impermanence, birth and death, it's already real. You don't need to interpret it. You don't need to understand it, because it's screaming at you. You just need to listen at it. Is that okay, Kara?
I will need to meditate on it, but thank you. Thank you.
Okay, good. No. Go ahead,
May I share
Plastic Tree.
something?
Yeah, Plastic Tree, we usually have people use their first names or personal nicknames here in the community, so maybe you introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Anthony.
Anthony, great. Go ahead.
I feel a lot in this moment, for starters. And I have a question. Is no my own choice?
No.
What does without interruption mean?
Go ahead. I couldn't hear your voice, what you said. And I think I was muted on YouTube, but the answer to Anthony's question was no. Very convenient for all of us. Okay, go ahead, Chess.
What does without interruption mean?
Okay.
I don't know if their voice came through clearly, so I'll just repeat what they said. They said, what does without interruption mean?
What does without interruption mean? Is that what you're saying, Chess?
Yeah. But
Oh, it means that you get into a place of continuous practice, like naturally. So this is also what samadhi is about. Like, it's not just that we're applying a meditation method anymore, but we're absorbed into a state of direct experiencing. So like when people enter very profound and subtle, special states of meditation, let's say, which we're not necessarily searching after that, but these things will happen if we're on the path and getting involved, right? The brakes are off. When you go into that state, you don't really have control about how long you'll be in there. So that without interruption is talking about the alleviation of yourself in it and just the direct experiencing. So at the beginning, our meditation, our approach, and our method may be very gross versus subtle. So like we're counting our breath, we're giving ourselves a pep talk every time. Come on, it's time to meditate, it's time to do this. But then eventually it becomes a natural way of being, right? And then in those intensive natural ways of being, we may fall into like a state of absorption where there's no interruption, there's not even a self, there's just direct experiencing. Okay, I think Sonia wanted to say something.
Yeah, I'm sorry because I feel a little bit sick, but the no, it can have a potential negativity, so it's difficult because we have different culture, and even if I feel it meant to be very positive, like no obstruction, no trouble, no anything that will disturb, but if you had like different experience in life in your childhood, like with very corrective parents, this no would not work with any kind of experience. So for me, it's like a bang in my face, but not a positive, not something feels me have me being more free. But I can understand the meaning, but I can feel that it's not working for everyone as a teaching. Well, it's not working for me. It's like a very authoritarian parents that maltreated, in a way with my understanding, but I can understand the way in the Zen teaching it meant to be. It's more, yeah. So I was thinking, is it our conscious, like conscience, the part of us that is more higher, that say no to disturbing?
No. And the really important teaching here is that this is not about feeling good. The further we get into the path, the more we will realize that life is not about feeling good, and that there will be serious difficulties that we encounter if we put ourselves into this work and this life, right? And on the Theravada side, or some people say the Hinayana side, just in that very strong focus on yourself becoming enlightened and dealing with your suffering and dealing with those traumas inside yourself, it's not going to be enjoyable or pleasurable, and it's not supposed to be pleasurable. it's supposed to be wholesome and freeing and healing. And sometimes, medicine tastes bitter. And so that side is very true. But not all teachings work for all people at all times. But we do have to be ready to take bitter pills. And that's not about the teacher. It's not about the teaching. It's about dukkha. It's about the unsatisfactoriness of mental states that arise, and how do we process them, and how do we be with them in such a way that does not cause us to suffer more unnecessarily. So we use our meditation method, or we practice metta, or sometimes we just have to endure. And there's a lot of blessings in enduring. I remember the first intensive meditation retreats that I went to were a living hell, psychotic living hell. And that was some of the, changed my life, saved my life to go through that. So don't be so quick to say yes.
I'm not saying yes. I'm hearing you, and I'm taking everything as a teaching and try all the time to push my mind over the first sense I can hear.
Well, just listening is also okay. I'm not sure what your question is, or what you're not clear about.
No, it's okay. My conscious is, I don't know, conscience en français, we say conscience, like our spirit, our conscience, how you say that in English? Conscience?
That's okay. Yeah, conscious. That's good.
Consciousness.
Yeah, sure. It's okay. Consciousness.
That part of us, we all have a big place in our consciousness that is disturbed, because the consciousness is beautiful and vast and big, but by the world and all the activity and the mind, it's becoming smaller. So what I thought it was, no to the disturbance and go back to the vastitude. That's what I hear. But I'm not sure if I will understand.
Well, this is why we hold no, because our mind is unstable, and we are not at a very high level of spiritual practice or realization. We are beginners. We're dealing with an unstable mind. We're dealing with inconsistent behaviors and mental formations and ways that we live our life. We say we want to be a certain kind of way, and we go another way. We recognize mistakes, and then we make mistakes again, and so on. So that's why this no is so precious, because it's just no. And some people are coming from backgrounds of trauma or backgrounds of difficulty. So luckily in our community, in the teachings that I've shared here, we've used a lot of trauma-informed meditation instruction. Thich Nhat Hanh on fear, Sister Jiang Nyam on learning how to deal with trauma through mindfulness. So all of these Dharma gates are there. And when we know how to say no, we know how to go to another Dharma gate that's more convenient to us, rather than intellectualizing about no. No is just no. Impermanence is just impermanence. The intellect can't reach it. The intellect only exists through the power of impermanence. If impermanence wasn't permeating every aspect of your thinking mind and your body, everything would just be like a traffic jam. It would be like a snowstorm on a highway where one car crash leads to another, and it just piles up and piles up and piles up and piles up. Where has your thought gone? Where has the dream that you had on March 21st, 2005 gone? Where's that dream at? Should we go try to find it? Or even the thought that we were having 20 minutes ago? Or the physical experience of the body that we were having 30 seconds ago? Where has it gone? Where did it come from? No helps us to resolve these misunderstandings quickly. And if we are not ready for no, then that's okay too. We don't like to hear no, so I don't want to hear no sometimes. When I say, hey, Buddha, please make me fully enlightened now. I want him to say yes. I want, the Buddha, I'm sure is non-binary, but I want the Buddha to say, yes, Bhante, thank you for asking. I was waiting for you to ask me about this. And, we'll send along your enlightenment. And before that, I want you to go into a jhana state for a month. So find a comfortable place to sit. How about under the Bodhi tree? And you're going to be absorbed in meditation so deeply that you won't need to eat or drink, and your body won't defecate or urinate, and you're about to have a great time, bud, and I'll go to the Bodhi tree. So I don't want to hear no when I make that request, but no is life. Impermanence is life. No thought is the foundation of all thought. No story is how stories exist. The space between words is how we communicate. Okay, Yang Li, go ahead with your question.
Hello, Bhante. Hope you are all right first. My question is about Zen meditation field, One teacher said, Yvonne Myoken, he's a Zen master. He said, when you meditate at Zen and you start thinking, when you close your eyes and you start to meditate, you start thinking, that's no longer meditation, because even your thoughts make, noise. What is your opinion about this?
Well, I don't agree. But also it depends on his definition, and he's trying to train people in a particular way. But meditation is the difficulty. Meditation is the intention. Meditation is the willingness. Meditation is the showing up. It's like, let's say that meditation is going to the beach. It doesn't matter if there's a storm. It doesn't matter if it's hot or cold. It's just going to the beach. And the hot or the cold or the difficulty, that is going to the beach already. So he may have a different approach, but thoughts are empty in and of themselves, temporary in and of themselves. So we don't need to put forth effort to try and get rid of thoughts. Thoughts are self-getting rid of all the time. So meditation is more like we open to experience that. But regardless, that's happening all the time. So meditation is maybe bringing a little bit of extra attention or presence to what's already happening all the time.
He even mentioned that when you have, a want to meditate, I want to meditate, for example, to be more calm, or something else, for example. He mentioned that this is a desire, and desire is, struggle. So yeah. All right.
Going to practice wherever you can practice and going to get training wherever you can get training, that's the starting point, you know. And then when you move on from that, or when you find something that's more accessible, more applicable for you, then you just move on, you go there. We've got to start using our gut, and we've got to start practicing. So when the ancient, ultimate Chan Zen spiritual master Wumen says, just hold no, and then we don't do that, well, you know, we've got to kind of take some responsibility onto ourselves. And maybe it's not going to be no, but finding a practice that we can do that is accessible, like staying with our mindfulness of breathing more often, or following our precepts more, or what have you. And there will be cycles. We will go into up places, we will go into low places. There will be, because as cultivators, we're going to be changing a lot. There's going to be a lot of development. And when there's a lot of development, relationships change, people change, environments change, dynamics that used to be there that you know, people liked or were connected to change. And that's really the path and the work that we're doing. So we've got to be completely ready for no, in as much as no is impermanence and no is changing.
Buddha, that he goes to the nature, you know, and he gave all to achieve, you know, all, in my opinion. He does this without have any kind of desire, or he just thought about your opinion, what like I will go to do this, and wherever I go, you know, because I don't know. But,
no, you don't think about what other people do. You practice, you cultivate, you stop putting your nose in the Buddha's business, and you practice seriously. And you volunteer seriously, you do good deeds seriously, you follow precepts seriously. And then from your position of being a cultivator and not having your nose in the Buddha's business or whoever you come across, right? You develop yourself and you have a greater capacity not to get into people's business or even into your own business, right? I don't want to think about my life, my problems, my story, my past, my future. It's finished. I want to help people. I want to arrive in the here and in the now. I am home, I am free, period. So we stop running around like that and we start cultivating. We start practicing mindfulness of breathing. We start making vows to follow precepts. We start to find a way to volunteer and engage on the path. And sure, there will be some musings, there will be some sharings, there will be some things come up, and that are habits, but we just notice it and then we get back onto the path in each and every moment.
Okay.
All right. Keep it up. Keep going.
Thanks, Bhante.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, Abby.
Yeah, I just wanted to share these two stories, analogies, I guess. And they're both related to Ajahn Chah, but anyway, the first one is Ajahn Chah has this anecdote where he likes to say, you know, we've got all these tentacles, and we've got these tentacles in everything. You know, we've got them in our body, and let's say we've got an apple tree, right? And obviously, when we've got the tentacles in our body, when our body hurts or when our body is in pain, it hurts us. But there's this apple tree way out there. It's our apple tree, and we've got our tentacles in it. If someone comes and tells us, you know, oh, your apple tree, it's cut down. It's been cut down for a week. And we haven't felt anything in a week, but now that this guy's told us about our apple tree being cut down, we feel it, because we've got our tentacles in this apple tree and it's cut down, and we feel it. We're not happy about this. And so, similarly, we start with this case of this monk who, he's a monk, so he doesn't have his tentacles in apple trees and possessions and other things, but he's got his tentacle in this philosophy of. Well, does the dog have Buddha nature? Does it not? And he asks his master, and his master sees the tentacle in it, and he says no. And now to pivot to my second analogy or story, there's another story of Ajahn Chah where he's with a group of monks, and he picks up a cup, a ceramic cup, and he shows the cup to the monks, and he's like, this cup has a crack in it. Can anybody see the crack? Is there a crack in this? Do you see the crack? Let's look at it. No, you can't see the crack. I can't see any cracks in this mug, whatever. And he says, well, there is, but it's an invisible crack. You can't see it right now. The moment it falls on the floor or anything happens, a little bit carelessness, a little bit that, the crack then appears. But the invisible crack is already there in this mug. And so, that's what I think the no is about, is that to remind us that our cats have a crack in them. Even it's an invisible crack, we might not see it there, but it's there. And even, our happiness has a crack in it. Everything has a crack in it. That's impermanence. The crack might be completely invisible to us in the moment, but it's there. And one day it will show. And so, you say no. You remember that there's a crack. That was my interpretation of the case, or my whatever that was. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Abby. So we'll leave it here for today. I think we've got a lot of no's in us, and we can work on that. We can ponder, we can contemplate, we can look deeply with our experiencing, like this case of no. And yeah, maybe next time we'll have something to share about it. Tomorrow we'll meet at the same time, and perhaps someone will have some insight about no. Okay? And let's finish with the sharing of the merit. Okay, so we can all unmute our mics on Discord, and can repeat after me. May all the merits that we have done till now
May all the merits
May all the merits we have done till
we
now
have done till now
be dedicated and shared out towards all beings.
Be dedicated.
be
be
dedicated
dedicated and
and
be
shared out
towards all
all
beings.
beings.
May all beings who are suffering, lost, afraid, find peace.
May all
May all
beings
May all
beings
beings who are suffering,
suffering,
lost,
afraid,
afraid, find peace.
find peace.
May those beings who are in suffering receive and rejoice in our merits.
May all those
May
beings
those who are suffering
rejoice
receive and rejoice in our merits.
May they enjoy our merits.
May we be free from all suffering, and may our merits help others to be free from all suffering.
May we be
May we
free
be free from all
from
suffering, and may our merits help all beings be free
Help
from all
all
suffering.
beings be free.
Help all beings be free from suffering.
May it be, may it be, may it truly be.
May it be.
May it be, may it be, may it truly be.
Sadhu. Sadhu. Okay, thank you everyone. Very grateful for your presence, your time, and see you tomorrow at the same time. Okay, take care.
Bye. Thank you, Bhante.
Bye.
And dear YouTubers, don't forget to leave a like, support our Dhamma propagation work. Thank you for joining on YouTube. And for all